Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm John Gray, and we're just plain living here.
Good morning. I'm Peggy Burton.
And I'm Jim Fuller.
How are you guys?
Excellent. And if
There's Julia.
if you wonder why we have football helmets and blankets and jackets and all that on the set today, this is homecoming week
I know it's a big week.
at Tullahoma High School. And I just, it's funny. I made this statement recently how a couple of years ago, see that jacket right there on this side? No, not that one.
You're talking about the one with the T on it?
Yeah, that one back here with the T on it.
Well, they've all got T's
Back
on
over
them. I was
here.
Just kidding.
Back over there. Back over there it
Everywhere
is,
you
over
look,
there.
There's the T on it.
Used to during homecoming, you'd see girls in the stands with football jackets on, and boys gave their jackets to their girlfriends,
yeah.
and everybody wore mums. Don't you
Yeah.
remember when
Right,
the mums
the
with
mum was a
they had
big
the
thing.
T in them, and of course in this town, you just don't see any of that anymore. It's
No,
just
that's
not
all changed,
celebrated
you know.
like it was.
And it's the 40th high school reunion for my son. I think he's coming home.
The general's coming home?
I believe so.
That's great. Bart Burton for president. I'll say it till he runs.
I hope he's coming home. He's in Miami right now, or somewhere like that. Hopefully he'll make it.
Oh, I bet he does.
He's
I bet he
trying, I
does.
know.
Do football players still give their jackets to leather jackets? To
I've not seen a young girl with a leather jacket
haven't
on,
either.
and I don't know
I haven't
when.
either.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't think it's that big a deal anymore, and those guys probably work so hard for it they think I'm gonna wear my own jacket.
Yeah,
it's pretty warm.
I haven't.
A lot of guys when we were in school, their jacket was wore out by the time they ever got
it back.
Yeah, right. And class rings,
Yeah,
I wonder if they still do that.
I don't
don't know.
think so, because I know my grandson's still wearing his class ring.
Yeah.
And back in the day, they'd get little, they'd win things like a football or a little tiny basketball. I have a drawer full.
Oh yeah.
I've often thought I ought to try to track down who they belong to and get them back. But
It's too
that
late
was just
now.
a thing
Nobody
then.
can.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nobody's
right.
alive now,
Yeah.
so it doesn't matter.
Right.
But anyway, it is interesting, that change in the
change,
all of
but
that.
they will. You'll see a lot of little girls this Friday night at the football game. They'll be dressed a little differently. They'll have a dress on or something like that instead of short shorts.
And they'll all be pretty.
And they'll all be pretty, and they'll have the homecoming court, and there's still pageantry involved.
Oh yeah.
I like that part. You know,
Well, yeah,
don't you?
that's
I think
some
it's a
good
nice
stuff.
Thing. It's a good memory thing for kids.
Yeah, it is, and so that's why I left the football stuff up here, and plus I was lazy, and I thought I need a good reason not to change the set out,
You did good.
and I thought, well, I really don't need to. It's homecoming week.
My memories, early memories of homecoming, I remember your brother, I think, he's a couple of years older than me, and I thought, that's the coolest guy, and he's
pretty cool.
He's really got it made. I think he might have been the escort for the homecoming queen, who I
Probably,
can't remember who it was that year, but this was like 9th grade maybe or something like that. And I don't know if you guys remember Jerry Gray or not, but Jerry Gray was a huge football star till he got hurt.
He was a good player.
He was a good player, and
He was very,
hurt playing
very,
football?
very
he
fast.
hurt his knee, didn't he?
Yeah, twice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
First time and then came back from that, and the second time he did. Sort of like Jacob, my
Yeah.
son Jacob, that tore his first ACL as a sophomore and his second as a senior.
Yeah.
Ouch.
So,
That's too bad.
and that does it.
Yeah.
And particularly back when we played, because I had a shoulder separation as a senior, and I had a pin sticking out of my arm, a screw sticking out of my arm that long for 8 months.
Oh, my word.
Now, what I had done, they'd go in there and fix that now, and in 6 weeks, 8 weeks, you'd be playing
Be back
football
playing
again.
football, yeah.
So
It's
it was
amazing.
very different, the healing process. And of course, at that time too, a woman went into the hospital to have a baby. She'd stay there a week to 10 days. You had heart surgery, you might stay there 2-3 weeks. Now you're out in 2
Things
days.
have really changed.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think back then, even when we were growing up, you could go in the hospital and have a baby for less than $100.
Yeah.
You know.
I know. And
It's
it costs you
unreal.
an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
And now it's what, 10,000?
Probably. You know, that part of our healthcare system is really messed up now. There was something about a piece on CBS this morning about a guy, or maybe yesterday morning, who had emergency surgery for a herniated disc, and it was threatening. He had to have it right then, because it was. They were afraid that if it ruptured, it would cause him to be paralyzed, and so. Anyway, he goes in and he has the surgery. And he's out in a few days, feeling good, and he starts getting bills. And bottom line is, ultimately, it cost. He got billed $640,000 for that surgery, of which his insurance would only pay $200,000 now because they said that he didn't get prior approval for that.
Oh my word!
And and it was an emergency thing, and so anyway,
Insurance.
it's crazy. He's out. He's still on the line for I think about $400,000.
Well, I mean, what are they going to do? We don't have debtor's prison here. What are they going to do?
No, but you're talking about a guy who's probably in his late 50s, worked all his life,
right?
And
that could just
had
take
retirement,
him out forever.
and then all of a sudden he gets wiped out about something he cannot help.
Terrifying thing.
And there's tremendous disparity today in a lot of parts of the country. Probably not so much here, but between you get one procedure done, and it might be a colonoscopy, and the price is $650, and then you go down the street in a big city and you get it done there and it's $8,000. It's just everybody's
How can you?
They just charge whatever they want to.
That's right, and it's you're caught. That's all there is to it.
Right.
It's hard.
That and scams, you cannot answer your phone.
No.
I know, everything's a scam.
Everything's a scam. I saw something on probably Facebook, I can't remember today, but about Rhonda Benson. Rhonda Benson is a bluegrass singer and superstar. Friends with Becky Bueller, who's on the show a lot, and somebody stole her identity or something like that, and got to responding to her fans. And she's got millions of fans, I'm sure. And their deal was, they posed as Rhonda, and said that she was trying to finish a new album and she was a little short on money.
Oh my gosh! And then they started getting money.
Yeah, and then
GoFundMe.
Yeah, probably was, and and some people lost substantial amounts of money that were huge fans of Rhonda, and sent in money, and of course it all went overseas somewhere.
Yeah.
It probably came from.
It's like I keep getting phone calls that some computer company owes me $399 because they've gone out of business, and of course I hang up every time, but they come from all over the world.
Oh yeah.
It just I get it. I get one maybe once every week.
I love the one
thing.
where you get, this is an email deal, and they send you an email and somebody says, we found that somebody owed you or you won or et cetera, $2 million.
Right.
But to process this, we need you to send us 1,000 or 1,200, and then if you do that, that just drags on.
That just drags on, and it is just huge.
And some people will buy into that.
And then I even get them on my cell phone now.
Oh yeah.
They don't say anything though. I just get phone numbers that I delete, but still they show up from California.
Yeah, California is the new California and Colorado right now. Is where they're coming from.
Colorado, yeah.
They were coming from out of the country, but then they figured out where they can even be showing up as a local number now.
Yeah,
oh yeah, they come from across the street.
I mean, if you don't have, I have a name, and when I can, a picture. Like when you call me, I look at my phone and there's a picture of Peggy Burton.
Is there really?
Yeah, you can do that on your phone. You can do that. Well, you can do that, sure. and or a name.
Or I probably don't know how to do
Or a
that.
name, you
Yeah.
know, well, that says Peggy Burton.
We'll
Well,
have a
I answer
name.
the phone.
I'd tell you, but
If it's not, I
can't
don't
remember
answer.
how to do it. But I could find out.
You know, if it doesn't show a name, and so, all right, if I don't answer the phone, or if someone doesn't answer the phone when I call them, I say, hey, this is John Gray. This is my phone number. Give me a call back. I need to talk to you about so and so.
Yeah.
They don't leave a message.
No.
I'm not
at
calling
all.
them back.
Me either.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that it's come to that, but you know, people honestly don't have time to fool with these.
I know, it's
these
very frustrating to me, and
telemarketers.
I feel like almost turning everything off and not answering anything.
And what I like on I don't know how I did it, or if Verizon did it, but this California number and a lot of these numbers, it'll start ringing, and I look over there and it'll say potential spam.
Right.
I wish I had that showing
Yeah.
up.
They can
And-
put it on your phone.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
You know, and I just let it ring and go away because they never leave a message. There's never
Right.
a message. It's a robocall. It's a computer.
Yeah, right.
But it was funny. I got Bob when Bob Couch was still alive, but he was very, very sick in a hospital bed at home, and had a stroke and couldn't talk. And they were calling the Couch's house about this $2,000, and so I was over there one day, and they called in, and I said, "Let me have that phone." And they said, Bob Couch? And I said, no, this is not Bob Couch. This is his son-in-law, John Gray. Bob's sick. And they said, well, Bob Couch has won $2,500, or no, $250,000. And I said, man, that is wonderful. And they said, hey, I said, he's sick, and man, we need this money. And they said, well, all you got to do is send us $2,500, and we'll process this and send it to you. And I said, let me tell you what. I said, I'm in the television business with some partners, and we have local TV. You bring that check to City Hall. Now, I want the mayor to be there, and I'll pay you $5,000. But we're going to get you presenting that check to Bob Couch in his hospital bed in front of City Hall with the mayor and the police chief and the fire chief. Click.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never heard another one.
No, they're not real fond. They're not real fond of publicity.
No, not at all.
Right.
Hey, but we are, and what we're going to do right now is do a little publicity for our commercial friends that help us sponsor this show and keep us on the air for 28 years now with this quick commercial break, and we'll be back with more of today's show.
Keith Barnett here at Russell Barnett Ford of Winchester. Check out the 2018 Ford F-150 as low as $34,739. That's Russell Barnett Ford on 41A in Winchester, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. And remember, my question is, why buy anywhere else?
My wife Jackie has always been the life of the party, but things changed when she couldn't be as active anymore.
They told me I needed a double knee replacement.
It's not as big a deal as it used to be, but she still needed to go to rehab.
I was amazed at how good the therapists were at Life Care. They took really good care of me.
They took excellent care of her, and now she's back doing the things she loves, and that makes everyone happy.
Life Care Center of Tullahoma wants you to get active and live well.
It's time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Good morning. I'm Richard Chastain Fire Chief for the City of Tullahoma, and I'd like to welcome you to the 18th anniversary of 9/11. As we mourn those that we lost on 9/11 back in 2001, particularly the 343 firefighters that lost their lives while going in to save others, we also celebrate Patriots Day. Patriots Day was formed to recognize those that continue to be willing to risk their lives to save others, to save you, to save me. And at this time, I'd like to take just a minute to recognize our local first responders, our firefighters. If you look to your right, you'll see men and women lined up against our rescue truck. These men and women actually apply for this job. It's a competitive process. They come in and do a physical agility test against numerous other candidates. They are judged on their abilities to perform the physical duties that may be required of them. They are chosen to move on to the next step, which is a written exam, a very intense written exam that talks about the things they will need to know and the learning abilities they have to prepare themselves for what they may face. Then, after that process, it is narrowed down to an oral interview in front of a panel of their peers, chiefs, captains, lieutenants of our department, as well as other departments. If they are lucky to be chosen to be a part of this team, then they come to work. They come to work for 24 hours away from their families. Christmas Day, their birthday, Saturdays, whatever is their shift, that's what they come and fulfill. And they do it proud and fearless. And I'd just like to thank them for choosing Tullahoma to be the place where they serve and protect. At this time, I'd like to ask Mayor Lane Curley to come up and share a few words.
Thank you, Chief Shastine and the men and women of the Tullahoma Fire Department for once again organizing this 9/11 commemoration. It is appropriate that we pause and honor the innocent citizens of 9/11 and the brave heroes of 9/11 that woke up that day, they went to work, and they never returned home. This is also our opportunity to honor and thank the men and women that serve us every day as first responders in Tullahoma. I remember 9/11 in ways that it was yesterday, but it's now been 18 years. I remember the feeling of being completely shocked, devastated, and deeply saddened. The day is filled with pain for many. The pain continues with the nearly 10,000 first responders at the World Trade Center who have been diagnosed with cancer after the toxic exposure they faced that day. Here are 5 ways we can take action and find common ground by memorializing the events of that day. Number 1, fly the flag at half-mast for the 2,996 innocent persons who lost their lives, as well as the service members who died or were injured in Operation Enduring Freedom. And number 2, give blood to show solidarity with the 6,000 injured that day. Number 3, volunteer by helping preserve 9/11 as the National Day of Service and Remembrance. Number 4, remember the brave responders who ran to the danger, who selfishly gave their lives to save others. Number 5, resolve to be a better and more giving citizen of this great country. In conclusion, a couple of quotes. First, George Bush, one of the worst days in American history, saw some of the best, the bravest acts in American history. We will always honor the heroes of 9/11. We pledge to never forget their sacrifices. Number 2, you can save the American spirit will prevail over this tragedy. Colin Powell. family personally, 9/11 was a reminder that life is a fleeting, impermanent, and uncertain. Therefore, we must all use every moment and nurture it with affection, tenderness, beauty, creativity. Deepak Chopra. September 11th revealed heroism in ordinary people who might have given their lives called upon to demonstrate the extent of that courage. Geraldine Brooks. And finally, Tom Harkin. We will win this struggle, not for glory, nor wealth, nor power, but for justice, for freedom, for peace. So help us God. Thank you.
Join me in the pledge to the flag of the United States of America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Please join me as we pause for a moment of silence to remember those lives that were lost on September 11th, 2001.
Here at Manchester Funeral Home, we know the importance of living and working in our local community because it's those families who we serve during their time of need honorably. We believe in supporting local business and offer only 100% Batesville caskets, the best in the industry and a driver of our local economy. If you want straightforward and fair pricing while working with the people you know, choose Manchester Funeral Home, serving your community since 1932. And pre-planning and pre-funding can be the best gift you ever leave your loved ones. Call us to pre-arrange. Manchester Funeral Home. Our family caring for your family since 1932.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
How long has it been since you raced a cheetah? Are your tornado creating skills getting rusty? Tired of being the only one in your neighborhood who hasn't built a dinosaur? Sounds like it's time to visit the Hands-On Science Center. The Hands-On Science Center is an indoor science playground. In this museum, please touch is the rule. Join us for weekly science demonstrations on space, lasers, lizards, rocks, and a whole lot more. No two visits are ever the same, so visit often to see our ever-changing exhibits and demonstrations. The Hands-On Science Center, 101 Mitchell Boulevard in Tullahoma.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're pleased to have joining us now from Motlow State Community College. To my left is Brenda Cannon, and to her left is Dr. Michael Torrance, and they're here today to tell us about some really neat things that are happening at Motlow College.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
We've had the best conversation. Well, we were late getting here when in our place to start with, and so they had to play another segment in the interim here. So consequently, we've been able to have a really nice conversation here while that was playing.
And that relaxes everybody. So
Absolutely.
Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
We are so delighted to be here. I'm Brenda Cannon, Executive Director of Community Relations. It's been a minute since I've been here, but it's so nice to be back. Thank you for having us. And as you stated, our president, our 7th president, Dr. Michael Torrance, is with us today. And to start our show, we're just going to ask Dr. Torrance to talk about Motlow College, where we are, where he sees us going, and then we're going to fold back in and talk about the 50th anniversary celebration and all the things that you are welcome to attend, and we are really expecting you and need you to attend. Dr. Torrance.
Well, over the last 18 months, Motlow continues to be on fire. We have set record enrollment again this year with 9 short of 7,000. I was thinking about signing up as 9 different people to make it to
nobody can blame you if you don't.
But somebody would catch me, so I figured that probably not to do that one.
Right.
But we have invested in our future. And so an investment in our future is an investment in our community's future. We're partnering with business and industry, large, small, medium size. We've extended our partnerships with our K-12 support areas across all 11 counties. We've also connected in new and different ways with our technical colleges, specifically in Shelbyville, McMinnville, White County, and even outside of what is traditionally our service area. We're reaching out to folks above Interstate 40 as well as below. We've added new leadership that is going to help take the institution to the next echelon, which means that we know that it's not just technology. We know that it's the support of the arts, it's the support of humanities, it's the support of social sciences, the hard and soft sciences, and we've prepared and put people in place that will help us lead and prepare our students to be better employees. We're focused again and renewed our energy and efforts in the workforce area, and have some pretty exciting things coming up that you'll just have to stay tuned to hear more about.
You've got to be proud of your staff and the college.
Absolutely.
Particularly because of the growth over the last few years. Isn't it maybe the fastest growing college in the state?
That's just a tough question to answer because there's so many good answers to give. We've recently been placed in the Chronicle of Higher Education as the 35th fastest growing college in the nation.
That's
over the last decade.
Yeah.
In the state of Tennessee, we consistently rank number one over the last 2 years in retention, completion, and
retention's a big thing, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And one of the things I always talk about, students aren't customers, but if we looked at a business model, and maybe some of our viewers would understand a business model, talking about enterprises versus ecosystems. If we looked at it that way, our students are the most important aspect of what we do. And they spend 96% of their time with our faculty. So it is important that we support our faculty and our staff and admin to make sure they have supports in place to do their jobs. And do their jobs they are. Yeah. Very, very proud of the people that I have the opportunity to work with and serve.
Yeah, you've been here, what, a couple of years now?
5 minutes.
5 minutes, okay. All right. Okay.
But yes, sir, roughly 17, 18 months.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. Brenda, big party coming up.
Big party coming up. For those of you who are unaware, we are celebrating Motlow College, your community college, is celebrating its 50th anniversary. And that is just wonderful. And while we were doing our preliminary conversations, you said you remember when Motlow opened.
Yeah, I do. Wow. And that was a huge deal.
That was a huge deal.
Yes.
We opened in 1969, September 22nd, to be exact. And on this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we are celebrating our 50th anniversary. It's free, it's fun, it's family-centered, and children-focused. So we invite all of you to come out and be with us. On Saturday from 2 to 5, it's Family Fun Day. Community colleges are so anchored in families because a lot of our students are adult students, and they are married, they have children, and these are the people who support the student as they progress through college. So we cannot have a celebration without celebrating the family. So we're celebrating the family because that's what we are about. So on Saturday from 2 to 5, we invite you to come, bring your children, your grandchildren, your parents, your next of kin, your next door neighbor, food, family, cake, birthday celebration, classic car cruise in, program jam. The program jam is an academic display of the multiple programs we have. Some of the areas have gotten really innovative with what they're going to present, fun things, and it's an opportunity for young children to have fun and teenagers to explore career possibilities. Also on Saturday, Utopia, JT Northcutt and his band.
Yeah.
They're going to rock the house. All of us enjoy JT. JT went to Motlow College in its early years, and he's excited to come back and help us celebrate.
JT's been rocking houses for a long time as well.
JT's been rocking houses for a long time. That is right.
Yeah.
And he still can rock a house.
He still can, yes.
He can still rock a house.
Right.
Following that, we are having an alumni reception. All of us know that alumni are key to a university success. With the community college, alumni are kind of hard to rally because a lot of our students transfer to four-year institutions, and they attach themselves to the institution that they receive their bachelor's degree from rather than their associate's degree. But within the foundation, the Motlow College Foundation, Lane Yoder, Sharon Bateman, and Phyllis Daniel have done a tremendous job of rallying alumni and trying to revive the Alumni Association. So if you are an alum of Motlow College dating back from the time the doors opened, we invite you to this celebration, but you must RSVP to come, and only adults can come to this. And that celebration will be held in the Clayton Glass Library. The newest building on campus, the absolutely beautiful architecture, And Saturday, you'll get to see some of the wonderful things that the campus looks like. The 1969 campus is not the campus of 2019,
No.
okay? So we invite you to come. And it's so interesting when people come back, they'll say, wow, it didn't look like this when I was here.
Right.
And yeah, the Modelo that opened in 69, we have the same mission, the same purpose, but it's a little bit different.
All of these festivities relative to the 50th anniversary are going to be coming at the Moore County campus. Is that correct, or are there other events in some of the other campuses?
We're going to spread our wings. Of course, Moore County is our anchor, and we're so proud of that, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. But yes, you want to talk about our other campuses?
Oh, absolutely. So we're going to spread the joy. This celebration encompasses, as I've mentioned before, 11 counties, thousands upon thousands of people. And some of those folks didn't go to school, but they sacrificed so they could send someone to school once upon a time. So in McMinnville, we're going to do some things at that campus where our new Automation Robotics Training Center is, where our mechatronics program has sprouted and grown legs like you wouldn't believe. In Sparta, we're also going to do some celebrations there. Down in Fayetteville, definitely in Smyrna. And we're going to partner probably with two of the TCATs to join in the fun that we're having across the entire year. I do, and I can't not make mention of the exciting opportunity to get into elementary schools. I don't know if people know that about my background, but that's where I started, with the little people.
Right.
And it brings me great joy that we're doing a 50 Stops, 50 Stories event. Over the course of the year, we're going to promote literacy, creating access points and entry points to communicate to little folks about the importance of reading, going to college, and dreaming as big as you possibly can. Ms. Cannon has been spearheading that project, and we have not only current employees volunteering to go out and read with us across our service area, because this is just not in Moore County, it's across the service area, this reading platform, but we're having retirees reach out to us and try to get involved. And I will offer to you, if you're interested in coming out to one of the elementary schools and sharing a story or two, we would be happy to have you.
Thank you very much. I will try to do that. You know, I have, we're going to run out of time here. One of the neatest things I remember about Modelo College was that at that point, I must have been 18 years old or 17, somewhere in that neighborhood. But there were so many people like me and my friends who really didn't need to be trusted to be sent off to college somewhere and live on your own. They really needed to get that college experience and get that fundamental basic education going on before they left home, and that was one of the neatest things about it. Plus, it was accessible to everybody right here, and the Tullahoma now it's accessible over all over the state. Guys, thank you so much, and you may have to come back and see us again because there's a lot to tell about this story right
Thank
here.
you, sir. Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us.
Appreciate it.
Thank you,
folks. We'll be right back in just a moment with more living right after this.
Oh, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the paint. Uh-oh. I just knocked a tree over. This is the paint doctor. I got the color wheel. Now, you know what a color wheel is? It is the wheel at the Paint Works where you pick all your colors to paint your room. It could be a multicolored beard. It could be a underarm fan. You never can tell. One thing we do know is that it's time to paint. You know, you can make your wife very happy if you go to your house and paint some rooms, or you paint the outside of the house, the inside of the house. It makes them feel very good because you work hard for them and they like that. All women like to see their man sweat, you know? They do. Honeydew is what they do. And you get to do it too. So you go to the Paint Works at 1960 North Washington Street and you see David Heikkinen over there, and he's the real paint doctor. He fixes you up with color. It's so nice when the color is right. Go to Paint Works today. Martin Senor. See? Martin Senor. Right there. Martin Senor at the Paint Works. Bye, and we see you next time. I'm burning up.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
All right, folks, we're back, and I'm glad to have our buddies from the Tullahoma Fire Department here today, Melissa Allen and Richard Steiner. And, you know, last night when we were doing our food show, we do a live food show on Monday night, and the last thing I said to the audience was, fall is here, and I know it's time to have sweaters and have little burn pits in your backyard. Leaves, trash are going to be showing up. It's as dry as it's been, and I don't know when. Do not burn anything until you call the fire department. I mean, just a simple, just because you put it in a barrel doesn't make any difference, because the wind blows it and all of a sudden. And so you're here today to talk about the exact same thing, is how critical it is right now that people go through the proper channels before they burn anything, right?
Right. We always have everyone needs to call in to the Tullahoma Fire Department to get a burn permit. Mm-hmm. And you can call 455-0936 to get a burn permit. And we actually have a website now, and it's www.tullahomatn.gov/leaf burning, and they can get a burn permit through that. And we have our Facebook page, and I always post if we are burning or if we're not burning
on
our
the
Tullahoma
Facebook
Fire Department webpage. All you have to do is get on Facebook and like us on there, and I post it every day if we're burning or if we're not burning. Right now, we are not burning anything.
Anywhere.
Anything in the Tullahoma city limits until we have a substantial rainfall. And I'm not really for sure. Our deputy fire marshal here can tell us if we can burn food out there on the grill.
Outdoor cooking is permitted.
Okay.
And we haven't gotten to the point yet where charcoal would be banned also. The state did put a ban restriction within 500 feet of forested areas. They pulled the permitting time back. It normally starts October 15th. This year they started it yesterday, the 23rd. So people who are in the counties and whatnot would be required to call state forestry to get burn permits. Uh-huh. We in the city of Tullahoma, along with Manchester and a few others, Murfreesboro I know, have decided to go ahead and withhold issuing burn permits until we get the rain that Melissa was talking about. Okay. It's just for safety.
Well, and you know, I can remember as a kid one time I set a field on fire. Lived on Druid Lane, and the sage grass was out there, and we were doing some little something, firecracker maybe, and a garden hose, you can't, you know, you think, oh, I'll take the hose out there and I can burn this, and it's like taking a knife to a gunfight. Right. When it's as dry as it is right now, you cannot control something with a garden hose.
Yeah,
I don't think you can, because you can't. Call the fire department or go on the website and see whether it's okay for you to do that or not. And the best thing to do is just, like a lot of old cats, they can't remember all of that stuff. Call the fire department. There's somebody down there to answer your question immediately.
Yes, exactly. So.
It's just too dangerous.
Right.
This is dry as it's been, and I don't know when.
2016, maybe.
Yeah.
I think that's when
and
we
had such a wet spring. You know, it was wet for so long. Well, we're paying for it now.
Right.
All it takes is one flying brand to get out and land in some grassy area with a little wind, and we have a serious wildland fire, and that's why the precautions are here. The fire department, our fire department, isn't really a wildland firefighting group of people. Forestry has the heavy equipment they can bring it out. We'll do our best to control and extinguish, but we're really more set up for structural fires and that kind of thing.
Yeah, but I mean, even where, like I live out on Autumn Lane, and there's a grassy field behind me, and then there's woods, and you know, part of Tullahoma city limits is surrounded by wooded areas.
Right.
Yes, it is.
You know, not everybody's in a subdivision where the grass is mowed every day and the bushes are clipped and there's mulch everywhere. There's people who live close to the county, and there's wildlife there, deer and skunks. Armadillos are everywhere. But I say that to say it's very easy, as dry as it is, for something to happen. And you people who still smoke, of course, you can be turned into the state for throwing your cigarette butts out the window when you drive. Do not do that now, because all it takes is 2 or 3 leaves on the side of the road to catch on fire, and the next thing you know, a whole field's on fire.
Exactly. Yes.
Did you mention the Facebook?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
She did. And so this gentleman right here has been around for quite some time. He is our fire inspector, and he's the guy who goes in for the fire department on new construction and refurbished construction to make sure that things are properly done, because our codes as far as fire are concerned over the past 20, 25 years have changed drastically.
Absolutely.
You know, sprinkling, what has to be sprinkled, what has to be done, how it's properly done, square footages and stuff. And Richard's the guy who goes in and
I'm glad to help anybody.
And glad to help. And you know, sometimes you think, well, I don't need that. Well, you want to open your store or your building, yeah, you need that. So,
right.
And it's not that Richard's a bad guy. Richard's just doing his job.
Well, thank you for that.
It's to keep, particularly if you're in a business application, you're responsible for the people that are inside your building, your employees, your customers. And if he's not doing his job, everybody's going to get in a problem if something happens.
The best way to keep everybody safe is to prevent a fire.
That's right.
And that's what I'm into, fire prevention.
Right.
Unfortunately, I also do fire investigation if something did get out of the...
Right. And this beautiful smiling face is just there to be the face of our fire department, and she does such a wonderful job. She's so outgoing and easy to deal with.
Thank you.
Well, and you've brought a new sort of a feel about it by getting involved in social media.
Yes.
Because that's where a lot of particularly young people, that's where they get all their information.
Yes.
You know, it's right here on their phones, and it's their Facebook page and web pages and stuff. And you've brought our department up to another level involving that kind of stuff.
Yes, I try to help in any way possible that I can, and also the smoke alarm program. It's doing very well.
Good.
And of course, anybody that needs a free smoke alarm in the Tullahoma city limits can come see me or call me at the Tullahoma Fire Department. I'm more than happy to help anyone that needs some free smoke alarms. So.
Very good. Well, we thank you both for coming, and we hope everybody out there will be safe. You know, like I say, I can remember one of my favorite things when I was a kid was the smell of burning leaves.
Yes.
In the ditches. You know, and of course we don't do that anymore. Very little of that's done anymore, but you know, of course, we had to rake all the leaves, and then we got to jump in them.
That's what I was going to say.
Then we got to jump in them and scatter, and then we'd have to rake them again.
That was always fun.
And finally got to burn them. But it's that time of year when people are going to be going outside and grilling and you know, having little fires and stuff, and that's wonderful. But make sure that your environment is a controlled environment, and you have the permission of these folks right here to do it to start off with, and don't say, oh, well, I'm going to do it anyway. You get a pretty good fine for it.
Yes.
Okay. And one more thing before we go. This lovely lady right here is the wife of my dear friend Stan Allen, who is a fine songwriter and musician, and after years of laying around doing nothing but trying to make a living, he's back playing music again, and you find a way to go hear Stan Allen play because he's incredibly talented. I think you said he's going to be at the Whiskey Trail on Friday night?
Friday night, playing his music.
His music. So, and Stan and I wrote quite a few songs together, and maybe he might sing one of ours.
He probably will be singing one of yours, and y'all need to start writing again.
We need to do it again.
Yes,
okay,
you do.
Folks, just wanted you to know that because it's important that in a community like we have, where it's about community, that we prop each other up and pat each other on the back and say, hey, this is something worth doing, so go do it. We'll be right back.
Clayton has been Tullahoma's family shoe store for over 100 years with a reputation for fashion and personal service. And the tradition continues today. Stop by Clayton and see our large selection of fine shoes.
We're gonna fit your style. We're gonna make you smile. Service and quality at Clayton Shoe Store. We're gonna fit your style.
Ah, the glory days. Running to daylight on the gridiron and chasing a ball with a mind of its own. Cheering the team to victory and marching to the beat of your own drum. Memories that last a lifetime. But sometimes we're reminded of our glory days in ways we'd rather forget. Get back in the game. The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live and play well.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Hello everyone, I am John Rickman, and this is Pat Welch, and we're here again with the 15th installment of the Conversations with John and Pat. Pat, I've got a song about the one-room country school. In a minute, Philip can throw up the little one-room country school that was is a Beckley Schoolhouse in Battle Creek, Michigan. That's where my wife is from, and they have a little museum in that little schoolhouse. But that's that's interesting because she came from a high school that had 500 graduates. Yeah, it changed. Yeah, she likes to remind you of that too. Grandpa used to tell me stories about the good old days, about how he walked 5 miles to school and that was just one way, to a little one-room country school where he and Grandma met, where he sat on the back row when she was teacher's pet. Grandpa said Miss Lucy Marlin taught him everything he knowed, from his ABCs to tending fire in the old pot-bellied stove. She taught him about life's mysteries, about flowers, rocks, and trees, but she always skipped the good part about the birds and bees. Oh, I wish that I could go back to the one-room country school, sit in the back with Grandpa, help him act the classroom fool. I'll slip a frog down Grandma's dress, ignore the golden rule. Oh, I wish that I could go back to the one-room country school. Grandpa used to run his traps before Miss Lucy rang the bell. He got sent home more than once for smelling like a polecat smells. Said Miss Lucy must have trapped too, 'cause she's a quick to tanning hides. She'd use a hickory switch or paddle 3 ways, frequent, deep, and wide. Grandpa's job was fetching water using rope and wooden pail. He got whooped one time for throwing a dead possum in the wells. He recalled that winding path where the outhouse used to stand, where the older boys smoked grapevine just to prove that they is a man. Oh, I wish that I could go back to the one-room country school, sit in the back with Grandpa, help him act the classroom fool. I'll slip a frog down Grandma's dress, ignore the golden rule. Oh, I wish that I could go back to the one-room country school. Grandpa didn't make cum laude, but he learned to read and write. He remembered doing homework by fire and candlelight, but most of all he grew up happy, and though he broke the teacher's ruse, he was grateful to Miss Rusey and the one-room country school.
John, that was tremendous. Oh, it was so fine, but I got a little bit squirmy when the lyrics described the size of that paddle or that switch.
Frequent, deep, and wide.
I guarantee
Belt,
you.
switch, or paddle.
That's right. Well, our segues, if we've had to struggle and stretch here recently, but I thought today we might go back to the Vernon Brixey story. And we worked on that one of the first installments, but we had a production
malfunction.
Yeah, and we haven't discovered the author of that, nor are we going to try to have a witch hunt to find it. We're just going to start all over today. And I hope that people remember that we've talked several times that Tommy Allen, when he passed away, he left a whole lot of his, or his family has left a lot of his scrapbooks, and he had all kinds of historical research on Tullahoma schools and athletics and so forth. And somewhere he found a little scrapbook that somebody made of the 1932 high school football season. And there was a really interesting piece in there about a football player named Vernon Bub, B-U-B, Brixey. And I found out through trying to research more about it that he lived out, which had been out in the country at the time, down Lincoln Street, about where Canaan Baptist and Wesley Heights Methodist Church are. And I think some of the time he walked to school. And he was, by the time he finished playing at the high school, he was over 6 foot and 200 pounds and could move, and that was back when your lineman weighed about 160, I think. So he was a really, really good player. And one of the write-ups here said that he had one game against Fayetteville. In the second half, he ran the ball every snap but one play in the second half. And against Murfreesboro, he'd had a incredible game, and that they were down 7 points, and he ran the last part of the fourth quarter almost every play, then threw a pass that got close to the goal line, then he scored. And at that time, extra points, if you go for like a 2-point conversion today, it was just 1 point, or kick it was just 1 point. They gave it to him again on a running play, he scores and tied the game. But on that play, he got a back injury. And I'm not sure whether he could not walk that night, but soon during the week he couldn't walk anymore. And I talked to Bob Couch before he passed away about it a little bit, and he remembered him. And I talked to Bob's sister, help me with her name. Cersei Hopkins. And she said that she can remember her father, Daddy Billy, taking her and Bob after church, visiting to cheer Bub up because he was homebound. And so the 32 season, after word got out, especially in Murfreesboro, that this happened against them, they decided they were going to play this game that was scheduled in Tullahoma and give all the proceeds to his medical expenses, and they were hoping to take him to somewhere like Mayo Clinic, I believe it was. And that would, of course, at that time have been in Rochester, Minnesota. And they made a great splash about it, had a parade. The game was at noon on Friday, which means they got out of school a little bit early, John. And they were hoping to have somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000 people and try to attract the biggest high school crowd ever held in Middle Tennessee, including games in Nashville. And the report of the money was somewhat disputed. There's no telling how many people were there, but evidently it was a huge crowd. And Philip, can you run that picture up? They brought Vernon in a kind of a makeshift ambulance and showed him in that picture there. he's being received by the captain of the football team, who was Mylon Hill. And
Mylon Hill's father.
That's Mylon Hill Sr. and Mylon Hill Jr. that taught with John at East. That was his father. And they had a queen from both schools, and it really was a kind of incredible story. And he, by the time, I believe when he was 28, he ended up with an infection that ended up killing him, and they had a big funeral at St. Barnabas. And a tragic story, and one I hope that mothers in particular won't pay a whole lot of attention to. There's a whole lot of when you let a 16-year-old take off in a car, that's a whole lot worse than playing in a football game, I believe. But
when you play sports, sometimes things happen.
That's right.
And,
that's right. But that was a really well-known story and a well-known and reported game. And I believe we're getting a sign that just about does it, John, for the 15th and stuff. Yeah, thank you. And thank you for allowing me the time to pontificate a little bit, John. And that's not the end of the stories, John. We got other ones coming, just like Mr. Couch said, and we hope that management will bring us back.
Keith Barnett here at Russell Barnett Kia in Tullahoma. Check out the 2019 fully loaded V6 Kia Sorento, up to $6,400 off original MSRP. That's Russell Barnett Kia in Tullahoma, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. And remember, why buy anywhere else?
My wife Jackie has always been the life of the party, but things changed when she couldn't be as active anymore.
They told me I needed a double knee replacement.
It's not as big a deal as it used to be, but she still needed to go to rehab.
I was amazed at how good the therapists were at Life Care. They took really good care of me.
They took excellent care of her, and now she's back doing the things she loves, and that makes everyone happy.
Life Care Center of Tullahoma wants you to get active and live well.
So you've been meaning to do something healthy, commune with nature, get outdoors and meet new people. We have the perfect solution. Come hike with us. You can find a Tennessee Trails Association chapter near you, including Clarksville, Columbia Franklin, Highland Rim, Jackson, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Plateau at Crossville, and Upper Cumberland. We're on the web at TennesseeTrails.org. It's fun, it's stress-free, and it's good for you. See you on the trails.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I have a lovely lady with me today, Miss Patsy Howard, and Patsy is with the Hospice of the Highland Rim Foundation. Good day, dear. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
All right, so what I want to do is give you a little bit of background on Hospice of the Highland Rim Foundation. It was about, I guess, 25 years ago.
Probably.
Or so. Mary Wise and her husband Dick moved to town. Dick's a doctor and ENT, and there was no hospice here. And my mother and dad had both passed away, excuse me, and had to go to the hospital to die. And so Mary and Dick and my wife Fran and I started campaigning to get a hospice in this area, and went to the state and legislature and cast our lot, and were allowed to start Hospice of the Highland Rim, which was a nonprofit organization serving everyone, no matter whether you were financially capable or not.
Right.
And part of that ended up being the foundation was formed as a separate side of the same thing.
Correct.
To make sure that there was money was raised to help these people, the ones who absolutely had nothing,
right,
to help their funding. And as Hospice of the Highland Rim grew, and we started off with 6 counties, and then we ended up going and getting 6 more counties.
12.
And then it got big and bigger and bigger, and then it was sold to a for-profit, and that took over Hospice of the Highland Rim. But at the same time, Hospice of the Highland Rim Foundation stayed in place, because for-profits don't necessarily give the care to people that nonprofits give care to.
Right.
And so the foundation stayed in place to make sure that when the for-profit hospice had a patient that couldn't be served, that the foundation would have money to see that they got served.
Correct.
Did I do that pretty good?
You did that pretty good.
Okay.
You did that pretty
And so what Patsy's going to do now is tell us about where the foundation is right now, and what you have to do to serve people, the type of people you serve, and how you go about finding funding.
We go about finding funding. We apply for grants to different organizations.
Mm-hmm.
We just this year got a $5,000 grant from Nashville Predators, which
wonderful.
was wonderful.
Yeah.
The Community Foundation, we applied there. United Way of Highway 55, both here in Coffee County, and then we applied for United Way of Bedford County,
right,
and have received grants from them.
Wonderful.
But most of our money is from donations from different people. Say a loved one died and you made a memorial in honor of your loved one. And we have our 2 big fundraisers a year. We have the big payback, and then we have our 5K run that we're going to be doing here in October.
So, excuse me, my throat all of a sudden is frogged up. 5K run, so that's going to be in October, and what does that entail?
We're going to have a 5K turkey trot run / walk, and a 1 mile fun run out at Tim's Ford State Park.
Oh.
And they're going to start out at the Visitor Center, and then they go through the woods, and they have a paved trail that they'll do, and they'll come back and we'll give out medals and trophies, and we have a 1st and 2nd place prizes for each age category, both male and female.
Wonderful.
So it'll be October the 12th. The race starts at 9, but registration begins at 7:30.
7:30, okay.
And the fee is $35. If you have a team of 5, it'd be $20.
Okay, per person.
Per person.
Yeah. And you're doing it out there at the state park. You're having a turkey trot. There will be some real turkeys out there trotting.
There could be. There's a lot of. It goes through the nature trails and everything.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's
we have a lot
great
of walkers
place.
That'll be walking the trail also, and.
And I'm sure there'll be some type of refreshments there.
Yes, they come back and we'll have refreshments and give out the medals and the prizes for the 1st and 2nd.
Well, that's wonderful. What type of client, and I know maybe you don't do all of this, but for someone to get help from you, from the foundation, get service from you or money from you to help pay for what service they need, how does someone go about doing that?
How to get
to you?
Okay, we work directly with the social workers of the different hospice organizations out here.
Okay.
There's Hospice Compasses.
Right.
There's Avalon Hospice.
Right.
There's Willowbrook over in Bedford County. There's Lincoln County Home Health and Hospice. And the Avalon also has one in Winchester and in McMinnville that we service. And the nurses will see a need, and the social workers will see a need for help either with their electric bill, or maybe they need food in the house.
Right.
Something that Medicare doesn't pick up. So they will send in a request to us, and then we will write a check.
So really, you don't have individuals coming to you saying, I need help.
No, they go through the hospice
organization. Well, that's great. So that means whoever comes to you you don't have to vet them.
No.
They've already been vetted, they're already into the system, and this is extra help that
Right.
these folks need to be able to be comfortable
In their home.
in their home in the final days of their life. And
Right.
what a great great thing
And last year
to
alone,
be able to do.
Last year alone, we did $73,000 worth of
That's incredible.
grants to different patients. So we really could use the help
At the fun run.
in our fun run.
And give us a date on that again.
It's October the 12th out at Timms Ford State Park. And the race starts at 9, but registration starts at 7:30.
7:30.
And the fee is $35 per individual, or if you have a group of 5, it'll be $20 each.
Okay. Patsy, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming.
Thank you for having us.
And I just know that you're welcome back whenever you need to come. You're welcome back. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Because we were part of this from the very start, and it's very, very important to have someone be able to. Death is a very stripping thing, and your dignity is all. You can't get out of here hauling a bunch of baggage. You know, you got to clean up, and a lot of that has to do with your pride and your dignity. And to be able to go through this in your own home is a wonderful,
comfort
wonderful
of your
thing.
own home and with your loved
with your
ones.
loved ones around,
Yes.
and pain-free.
That's it.
And that's what these people help to make happen. That's Hospice of the Highland Rim Foundation. Thanks, dear.
Thank you for
Come back
having
and
me.
see us soon,
Thank you.
okay?
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Smoking tobacco accounts for 3 of every 10 fire deaths in the United States.
Tullahoma Fire Department. Need you en route to a structure fire, 202 Main Street. Heavy smoke showing. Neighbors advise child trapped inside.
Lighters, matches, and associated smoking paraphernalia are the leading cause of preschooler fire deaths. We as firefighters know that most structure fires can be prevented.
I've got one! Command, this is primary search. We have a victim. Need EMS to meet us at the front door.
Please help us to give you a fighting chance. This can be prevented. Contact the Tullahoma Fire Department for a free home safety inspection.
What's a Tennessee vacation? It starts off like any road trip, and then, boom, adventure and thrills everywhere you look, which happens to be some of the most beautiful scenery in the country. Music here, history there, and all kinds of green in between. Come relax and unwind, or bring the crowd for some stargazing, or stargazing. Whatever you do, come hungry and expect an awesome soundtrack. It's all right here in Tennessee. We're playing your song. For a free vacation guide, visit tnvacation.com.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Welcome back. I always love having these two ladies on the show with me from the Mental Health NAMI Association,
NAMI.
National Association of Mental Health. This is the sisters. You can tell that they look a little
If they
bit like
couldn't tell,
sisters.
yeah.
This is Pam.
Nope.
This is Pam. I
Yeah.
know Pam Henson and Brenda Hirschberger. And they are going to do a class that we're going to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Did I pronounce your last name
You
correctly?
did. You did good.
Okay. Am I getting better?
You
All
did
right.
good.
Let's first talk about sort of what you all
What
do.
NAMI is.
What NAMI is.
NAMI is the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and it's a grassroots group of volunteers. It's all volunteer, and NAMI's vision statement is to enhance the lives of those affected by mental illness.
And that includes
caretakers as well as those with a mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
What Pam and I do is we do classes for family members, friends and family members of those affected with mental illness. And we also facilitate a support group that meets the first Thursday of every month at the First Presbyterian Church in Manchester.
And we want to give them a big plug. How great it is that the First Presbyterian Church offers up a room and space for you all to do your classes.
Yes.
We're very blessed that they
the meetings once a month.
Reverend C.J. Thompson there has worked with us. He's very easy to get along with, and he believes in what we do.
Yes.
So.
And Pam, when you first started doing this, what made you get into this association?
At the time, we have a brother that was older, and we always knew he was a little different, but you know, we never knew why.
Right.
We thought our mom spoiled him, so
right,
and because he was the youngest, and he at an older age was diagnosed with autism, high functioning autism, Asperger's, and so he lived with me, and it was very hard for me because he did things different. He's kind of a hoarder and things like that, and so.
And you wanted to fix him.
Right. When
she looked at him, she saw a 50-year-old man.
Well, he's 6'5".
But he has a lower mentality of a teenage boy.
Right.
And so it was difficult for her dealing with him because she thought he should be able to do these things.
And that's one of the biggest problems, and that's why your association is so important.
Yes.
We put this on the screen. Write that down to get information about what's going on with the association. I think we need to get the class listed now.
Okay.
You're fixing to have a class, and
Pam and I will be starting a class for family caregivers, friends and families, people who want to learn how to better communicate with their loved ones about mental illness. Starts on Saturday, October 5th, and this is a 12-week class called Family to Family, and it's difficult to get people to commit to 12 consecutive weeks. So what we're going to do is do Saturday classes, and we'll do two classes per Saturday.
Okay.
Starts October 5th, we'll end at November 16th.
And what is the time span?
We'll start at 9 o'clock, and we'll do one class from like 9 to noon, and then we'll break for a sack lunch. We'll have them bring a sack lunch with them. And then the other class will run from like 12:30 to 3 o'clock.
That's a lot of work for you, but I think it's a good idea. A 6 weeks class, but it would be an
versus
8,
double. And we can cover more materials and be more in depth. One of the things we've found in doing weekly classes is you have 2.5 hours to do to get all this material in, and
you have to load it all up and take it. So
and people have said in their comments afterward that they wish it was longer. So
once they get involved in it, they want it to go on.
Right.
Until they get it all in them. I don't know if everybody understands how important it is. I'll just give my example. My mother had Alzheimer's, and at first we just didn't quite know what to do, and I can remember being a little bit angry, and which made me feel bad, but as soon as I started reading up on all the things I needed to do, that is the worst thing you can ever do. You have to be very kind, very gentle, and change the space and whatever, but you got to learn that some way. And your classes, you're covering people with are caretaking bipolar, Asperger's,
schizophrenia, PTSD, borderline personality disorder. We'll cover all those classes. We teach you how to communicate with someone with a mental illness, the communication skills needed to communicate with someone with a mental illness are totally different. And you can't raise your voice. You can't yell. When they're yelling, you need to be calm. And that's difficult to do when they're screaming at you. You want to scream back. But you can't. But these classes that we teach are totally free. There's no charge. NAMI is a totally volunteer organization, and we are.
You do accept donations.
We do accept donations.
And I want it. There is the
Mm-hmm.
address right there. If you ever wanted to donate to this association's wonderful cause, and I think if you're a person, you don't even know if the people, anybody around you, but you're wondering why do they act so different. It
One
would be
in
good to
five
come to
people
these
have a
classes.
mental. 1 in 5 people have a mental illness.
1 in 5.
And they may not be diagnosed even yet. We had a gentleman took our class last time we did a class, and he found out he was a hoarder, and he had no idea.
He didn't know he was a hoarder.
His wife knew it.
His
but
wife
he
knew
didn't,
it, but he
never.
never
He didn't realize it.
Never realized that he had that problem, and he's done something about it, and
That
he's
is
getting
awesome.
better. You know.
That's
So
wonderful.
it's very rewarding to make a difference in someone's life, and to. I have a daughter who was diagnosed at 18 with bipolar disorder, and she's my only child, and I always just kind of fought with why. And it's so...
It happens in every family.
Well, you know, and everybody has a purpose in life.
Right.
Or you
Exactly.
should have a purpose in life, and my purpose is to help other people know that mental illness is a physical illness. The brain is malfunctioning. They can't help the way they're acting. They're not
Exactly.
doing it to make you angry. They're not doing it to, you know, just tick you off. They need help.
And the goal of NAMI is to have people recognize that a mental illness is like if you have diabetes or if you have a heart problem.
And that's hard to get a cause in
Right,
the world.
and that's why we're trying to get past
And
that stigma.
You all going to have to come back because we don't have time to cover everything we need to cover. But let's mention the class one more time.
Okay.
It starts.
It's called Family to Family. Starts October 5th from 9 to 3. You do have to be registered. Call 931-952-6871 to
and you
get
get
registered.
that on the NAMI Facebook page.
Yes, it's on the Facebook
And
page.
I just have to tell y'all, I love what you're doing, and I
you.
want you to come back.
Thank
We
you.
will.
We
We
will.
will.
We'll go now.
It's time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
Hi, I'm Cindy.
And I'm Jacob. I'm the Rooster.
And I'm the Red Maiden. And we would like to welcome you to
Roosterwear.
Yes, Roosterwear is a cottage industry producing accessories for men, women, children, babies, and pets. All items are hand cut and sewn locally. Roosterwear specializes in bow ties, pocket squares, scarves, cufflinks, neckties, and aprons of all sizes for all ages. Baby products include onesies, diaper covers, bibs, and burp pads. All bow ties, tie it yourself or pre-tied, come with an adjustable neckband. All products can be made with the material of your choice, as special orders are available upon request. Don't be standing back looking at fashion. Create your own with Roosterwear.
come visit us at
roosterandredmaiden.com.
to find our handcrafted designs for
The Cock of the Walk.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, folks, we're back and we're leaving. We've had a great show today.
A lot of people.
A lot of people, a lot of good things. Happy homecoming.
Oh, yeah.
And be safe out there. Enjoy the 41A Festival. We'll be back next time.